everybody. Such an honor and so excited to support you. So, welcome to 2026. I'm so happy that you guys made the commitment to take this time to invest in yourself and to really draw a line in the sand, right? To declare to yourself and the universe that this is the year where you're stepping into that next level of your destined life, right? This is the year where everything starts to turn in your favor. And this is the year that you actually get to look back wildly fulfilled on the daily life that you've created from the choices that you're making. And I think by just committing to arrive in this room, you're doing half of the work. So I'd love to hear from you guys just to make sure that this is very tailored to the energy of the people in this room, to your needs. On a scale from 1 to 10, like how clear are you on your purpose? And on a scale from 1 to 10, how confident do you feel that you can create an abundant living? Doing what lights you up, doing the thing that, makes time stand still. If you want to just give me a little bit of feedback in the comments, that would be amazing. 10 and 10, 10 and 8, 8 and 4. Amazing. Okay, great. So, what if 2026, with the new numerology that we're also stepping into, we just closed out a 9 year cycle where things are coming to completion, things that have been in motion for many, many years, all of these recurring patterns, right, are really coming to be closed out. And with the new energy of a line 1 year, what this means is that now is the year to create something new, something that hasn't been done before, for this to be the time where you are breaking those generational cycles, those repeating patterns, and that you're also allowing yourself to transition into the thing that you have written into your soul's agreements for your highest purpose in this lifetime, right? The thing that fulfills you, that satisfies you, the thing that you probably stay awake at night dreaming about. And if everything that we have closed out in this previous year is coming to an end, this ability to kind of weave a new blank slate, what better time to actually download your higher self's transition plan so that you can make the leap into the next level of your career, into the next level of your purpose, and into your own legacy without compromising your security, right? Without compromising your sanity, or without feeling the need to go on this, 8 month sabbatical or an ayahuasca journey or something really drastic in order to find yourself and start over, right? If you guys have been stuck in an unfulfilling road, you've kind of like outcreated certain roles, right? And you're living something where you could use a breath of fresh air. I know what it feels like to wake at night, kind of questioning your life choices, but also feeling like you have so many existing commitments going on around you that make it hard to leave everything, right? To transition because you have people counting on you. You have likely a family, right? Children that you provide to. You likely have a job, right? That you can't just up and ditch like some other people. So today we're going to actually debunk some of the biggest beliefs and subconscious programs that keep really talented, gifted people stuck or trapped in an unfulfilling role or at a lower level of their income and success, and to help you break free from the shackles that keep you out of alignment with your full purpose or the biggest impact that you could make, and with the thing that not only moves the needle in, right, your finances up on fire. All right. So I know we have some familiar rooms, some familiar faces in the room, and then there's a lot of new folks too. So for those that don't know you, my name is Melissa, and I am the Destiny and Success Mentor and the Subconscious Healer for the world's top leaders. I help the world's top 1% and business leaders help to collapse the recurring patterns, the blocks, the karma, and the obstacles in the way of their next level life. And what I've discovered in the time that I've been operating is that we have a higher self who is fully equipped with a, is there someone on there? If anyone's on the thing, we may just need an unmute, if that's okay. Thank you. So that we actually have a higher self that knows all of our past, present, future choices available, right? The higher self sort of sits above your conscious level, your day-to-day life, that isn't as bogged down by some of the repeating obstacles that you have that make it difficult to get ahead, and it actually knows how to transition, right? Or to create parallel income to transition into the next level of your calling without leaving it all behind. So today I'm going to walk you on how to actually make this leap gracefully and successfully without risking it all, and to understand how we can, one, create parallel income or to pre-sell amazing offers, but to also become a match for the internal frameworks and beliefs that we need to have in order to actually feel like we can succeed at a higher level. A lot of the times people think that they can't either succeed in monetizing their purpose or going all the way in because they're either not cut out for entrepreneurship or maybe they need another done for you marketing template coaching package offer, right? But the reality is that if you weren't actually blocked on your purpose, and when I say blocked, either energetically, subconsciously, right, intuitively, or through some of those past traumas and programmings that have been passed down from, say, your parents, right, people that have come before you that tells you it's not safe to be an entrepreneur, it's not safe to pursue something that pays you money that also feels fun. Subconscious file folders create evidence for why you quote unquote would fail, why you cannot succeed, why you can't have it all. And what it looks like is quietly sabotaging your goals, quietly taking yourself out, missing out on opportunities, laying ahead, laying awake in bed at night, wondering why or when finally something is going to start working for you. But if we actually have the opportunity to reprogram our unconscious beliefs, then what we start to do is seeing ourselves as unstoppable, capable, right, determined, and we're actually able to gain a lot more traction in terms of our business and our big why, because we no longer see ourselves as the person who's struggling or trying to figure it out or the overwhelmed, right, unfulfilled mom. All of those outdated masks and identities no longer have power on you because you start to actually shift into the identity of the person who is high in demand, the person who is paid well, the person who is wildly fulfilled and living an example, and the person who can also balance like their family, right? Their family home needs with a something that lights you up and really sets your soul on fire. So today I really want to show you about how we can have it both and to also help you to collapse any of those blocks that you may be holding on to unconsciously that prevent you from actually getting ahead. All right. So tell me in the chat if you can, I'll just give you guys a couple seconds, what some of the biggest beliefs that you guys have running on what's in the way of your next level purpose or your passion, right? Or calling actually taking off to the level that you would feel really successful at. Can you give me guys some examples there? Give you guys a few seconds there. They won't be able to be consistent and actually achieve it. Yeah. So how many times have you guys like started out to try something, right? And then we have this idea and when it tends to be a little bit harder than we expect, right? We associate that to all of the times we've tried and started a goal and we've given up or we've failed or we've sabotaged. And then our memory goes, oh, yeah, well, this is like the same time you did this thing in seventh grade or the time when you were 24 and you started that diet and it didn't work out. And the 24th time you tried a business and it didn't work out. And it brings you more subconscious evidence, right? To confirm the very thing that is keeping you from actually having the breakthrough. And what I feel on an energetic level is that so many of these women in this room are on the cusp of their next level of expansion. So my goal today is to not give you some like marketing hustle tactic playbook to copy and paste some other person's business strategy, but to actually help you become inevitable by shape shifting and to reverse engineer your inner dialogue. Failures. Okay, so lack of clients, right? And lack of clients is very interesting too, because anytime we're in wanting or waiting or wishing or hoping energy, we can't actually be a match to the version of you that has it, right? Because the version of you that has it wouldn't be feeling the same frequencies or the same feelings of wanting or longing for something that isn't there. So, in order to become that, we actually need to understand, okay, who do I need to be in order to hold it, in order to have those outer marks of success show up, right? And acting that way, we're actually not congruent. So then it ends up just becoming this dream or this fluke that always goes out in the future. Carving out time, yeah, that can be hard, especially if you have a 9 to 5. That's fair. Unable to sell myself as the product because I'm starting as a solopreneur. Fair enough. Okay. Lack of finances. Same business for so long. What stops me? Clients keep coming in and it's very comfortable, even rewarding. Yeah, that's huge. So whether you are an established entrepreneur or even established in 9 to 5, like I work with a lot of executives, and the biggest thing is like those golden handcuffs, right? You have the very comfortable retirement packages, the very comfortable remuneration packages. You have clients that have those security needs met. Sometimes the biggest trap can be almost like the self-imposed prison because choosing something new requires a little bit of a leap of faith or an uncertainty. Take what we're given or take what we're handed rather than risk it all and leave it behind. But there is actually a way to hack this. So I'm going to talk about that a little bit later. Stability won't be able to draw in enough clients to maintain stability. Drawing people willing to pay my rates. Yeah, that's huge. So also aligning with clients who can afford you and who love to invest in themselves, right? So that the sale becomes easy, it becomes a win-win. You're not really selling anything, people are buying from you, which is a really interesting way to switch up the energy too. Money being the root of all evil, yeah. So sometimes when we have receiving blocks, it can actually be traced down to times when receiving was unsafe. If you've ever had any adverse and some of my biggest receiving blocks was around not trusting whether I would be receiving, and it comes with, hidden agendas or stuff that I later regret. I feel you. Going through a huge life transition, but it's no, never feeling. Okay, so almost feeling like the goal's out of reach. Okay, this is very helpful. Thank you guys. Okay, I love this. So what I will say is I will invite you guys to set the intention that no matter where you're at, no matter what's blocking you, that you receive exactly what you need to know or exactly what will open up greater possibilities for you on this call. Just set that intention for me now, and we're going to just reverse engineer how to dive into all of those and to come up with the easiest, fastest way. So typically, we have been bought the lie, right, that going all in on our purpose or going all in on entrepreneurship requires us to kind of live an uncomfortable life. If you've ever watched like Dragon's Den or Shark Tank, how many entrepreneurs pitch themselves by saying what they've been willing to tolerate, right? I slept in my grandma's basement for 7 years and ate ramen noodles and blah, 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 and I did everything. And sure, we do need a certain level of audacity and going all in through our commitments. But the one thing that I do not believe in is compromising your existing lifestyle, your security, your family, or your cushion in order to go all in, because you should be able to have both. And I don't know whoever came up with this idea that entrepreneurship needs to be this like die hard struggle thing. But really, in this new era of doing business, we're here to also create a new future where business is balanced with consciousness, with well-being, with family, with personal development. And there's really this amazing shift in opportunity right now for the right people who are willing to go all in on their soul's purpose without feeling like they need to leave their sanity on the table or to do these crazy things and eat ramen noodles and to make these insane sacrifices, because it also puts you in the frequencies of scarcity, survival. And what that then later creates is you being desperate, right? Which nobody likes. If you've ever gone to like a used car sales place, and the people that like, flock towards you at the end of the month who are trying to make quotas, you can feel that they need something from you. And it's very repelling when people are desperate or they're trying to sell from a place. Income transition plans and creating cushions by pre-selling things is the fastest way to make that leap profitably, because we're no longer chasing or begging people to work with us. We're actually doing it from a place of ease, expansion, and okay, universe, I'm ready to level up. Like, game on, show me how. Contraction or feeling like you need to suffer through it until you finally one day have your big breakthrough in success. So a lot of the times when people are stuck, right, or they're comfortably stuck in something that they've outgrown, right, where they can rely on it, it pays the bills well, it's also kind of soul crushing, or it's just falling flat after a long time, maybe it worked at one point and doesn't anymore, are three really sneaky beliefs, right? One is I can't do it if I have existing commitments like a 9 to 5, right? I'm too tied up. There's existing stuff going on. Or I can't transition and start all over if I have existing clients, right? Or people, depending on me. The other part is I can't do it if I have a kids or a family, right? I need to be able to like go into the woods to find myself for a year and to travel the world to understand what my purpose is, right? And the third one is I'm not ready yet, which is one of the most nastiest, it's probably not very grammatically correct, but one of the most insidious victim mindset programs that keep us stuck in this mirage of inevitably waiting for the perfect conditions, right? Which you tend to put out in the retirement, or I have some time on my hands. And then as you approach the mirage, what happens? You feel like you're just about to get close, and then it gets pulled out and further again, right? So we're going to unpack some of those, but I'll tell you a little bit about my backstory just to give you some context about why I'm here and why I care so deeply about this work. This past year, I've made over multiple six figures in my business and scored over $200,000 in additional manifestations. I've worked with some of the most famous TED Talk speakers, multiple ClickFunnels award winners, high value six, seven, and eight figure entrepreneurs. And I've had the opportunity and privilege to travel all around the world for paid speaking engagements, for paid mastermind opportunities, and also just in my personal family life after being blocked for like 7+ years. But this isn't a, dazzling come up story about everything that I can show you. It's actually about what I did wrong that led me to get here and what finally clicked and moved the needle for me in 2025 alone. Going back to about 2018, I was working board level positions in my late 20s. I was doing everything that was expected of me on paper, highly successful, wildly unfulfilled, working at offshore corporate law firms and supporting some of the top 1% in managing their money, right, through offshore entities. I won't really bore you with the details. Essentially, I bought into the belief that after college, you go to get married, the house and kids, right? And you climb this corporate ladder, and then one day you'll be happy. And if you follow these steps, then you'll be succeeding. But every time I was looking around in my life, it felt like I was kind of living a lie. And beyond that, it felt like I was the only one in my work environment who was actually questioning, like, what the heck is going on with all of this water cooler gossip, all of this office politics, and why nobody else in the room wanted or seemed to like have any desire for anything beyond just their 9 to 5 duties, carving out on Netflix, and being in this continuous hamster wheel of barely just getting by. And we had moved over from Bermuda back to Canada because I had started to get evidence that my marriage was going downhill in a really unhealthy manner. Through some therapy, I actually realized that I was married to a toxic narcissist, a covert narcissist who was really great on paper and really great in the public, who looked wonderful, but behind closed doors, we were very entangled in this like empath narcissist dance, and it just was very unhealthy. And I knew that in order to get to a place of safety and to start setting myself up for success and preparing to leave this, I actually had to be back in my home country in Canada because we were living on a tiny island in the Caribbean, and I needed some, community support to be able to do so back in Canada. We had a major life event in June 2019 where I left it all behind. I fled domestic violence with my then 3-year-old daughter. And we left everything, all of our belongings, our family home. The only thing that we had was like an overnight bag in our car. And I set out on this quest to one, find a place to live and to start over again while we were navigating the court process, but then to also understand what in my life created this. And this is where I started to realize that I had some, childhood wounding, childhood trauma, some stuff that, allowed me to create a life where I was abused behind scenes and to create a life where I was aiming for this idea of perfection, but really like never actually doing something that made me happy. It was almost like I was trying to mold myself into everybody else's idea of what a successful person looks like. And the further I went, the louder the misery went. I was a quote unquote wine mom, drinking be a high performer, have all these amazing accomplishments, but also never actually finding happiness without kind of sedating myself at night, right? And I realized that not only had I succumbed to other people's expectations of what a successful look looks like on paper, but that I actually had a deep healing to do that had caused me to create all of this or allow this in my life. And I really no longer wanted to be the victim to it. So I set out on this quest for all this personal development and deep healing and family line work. And I got so passionate about discovering that we all have these like have these insane gifts that we can share with the world. And the more I grew passionate about personal development, the more I knew that this is what I wanted to do is help people with the biggest breakthroughs of their life and to collapse years of talk therapy, right, and stuff where I had seen insane transformations after leaving my SD, which is something that quote unquote should never go away. And again, I can't officially say this. I'm not a licensed like medical professional, but I know that coming back after doing this work to follow-up appointments, the CPTSD symptoms were gone, right? We had healed these things on a cellular level from the root cause. And what I wanted to do is bestow this on others and to help others with the same kind of transformational tools. So, what I did during this transition time after leaving our family home behind is to go all in on personal development coaching, putting out some offers, and I sucked at it. I failed. This was about 5 years ago. Everything I put out was crickets. Nobody showed up. I was attracting people into like discovery calls who were like, oh, yeah, sounds great. I'll need to think about it, like never hearing back. And I wanted to help people so bad, but I had this ingrained identity that I was like this. I had so much potential if I could only get people into my room to work with me, but there was something that was blocking me or causing me from actually having the clients like show up who wanted to work with me. And I never forget the day where going all in on this transition plan, the idea was so strong. It felt like it was guided by source, a higher power, like there was something leading me to the next level life. But I just remember being so angry and resentful when stuff wasn't showing up, my things weren't selling, and I couldn't actually make money the way that I wanted to, or the way that I had a comfortable, like board level salary prior to. And I almost felt like, like I don't know what the word is that I'm looking for, but I felt like there was like a cloak pulled over my head or some sort of swap going on in my life where I was doing everything that was asked of me to take these big leaps of faith, to put my daughter first, to reinvent our life, to show her what real love looks like by removing us from a unhealthy environment. But then I wasn't actually financially supported the way that I needed to be. And once we got to I had to turn my camera off because video keeps freezing. All good, no problem, Alicia. And the worst moment was when we were buying Thanksgiving dinner and getting our groceries together. And again, it was just me and her during this time. And I really wanted to make all of our holidays that much more memorable because we were just undergoing this big separation. Was when I couldn't actually afford the bill for a turkey dinner after having, a really great six-figure salary prior to that. It was like everything just shattered. And I had this breakdown of why are you not supporting me? I'm following all this guidance. And it felt like I was almost being played or cheated, right? By the universe, by God, by whatever you want to call it, but by something was massively wrong. And so I decided that in this moment, I would no longer compromise my income, right? I would no longer compromise my family security or eat chicken nuggets or not be able to say yes to the things that I wanted in life. And by doing that, I actually went back to the 9 to 5 for a good 3 to 4 years before what I'm going to share in this call took off. Now, leading up to last December, so just about 1 year ago, I was still working at a marketing agency, still doing the coaching healing kind of on the side, making decent money. I think I was making between like $1,000 to $4,000 a month, but it was like fluctuating, right? It definitely wasn't enough to make an income, wasn't enough to count on it. I was getting so fed up by the thought that if I continued going the safe path by succumbing to a 9 to 5 paycheck just to pay the bills and then doing my little thing on the side, that I would never actually live up to my full purpose or my full potential. And the biggest fear that I had was that if I am on the end of my life, looking back on everything that I did and chose, that if I saw myself at the end of the life, right, not actually going all in on the thing that I knew I could do and the way I knew I could help people and the impact that I knew I could have, that I would hate myself. I would be so deeply unhappy because I was too scared to try again, right? I was afraid of failure, afraid of rejection, and that I simply took myself out by waiting on the sidelines. So that December, which is just over 1 year ago, I made a vow and a promise to myself to figure out how to do this, but to do this now swiftly and in a way where income is a given, income is predictable, income is reliable. And this is where my higher self came in and gave me the most amazing download that I've ever had in my life. Now, going back to what we think about, you're not given your manifestations because you want them. The manifestations arrive when you become the version of you that can match it, that can hold it, or that can receive it, right? Through your self-worth, your identity, your beliefs, right? If you've ever had, say, a guy in high school that you've wanted to like date, you thought they were cute, right? If you're in the energy of wanting, needing, longing, you're in an energy of chasing, which pretty much signals, right? And the universe is your biggest ally. So we're signaling, oh, it's not here yet. It hasn't arrived yet. And the universe is like, okay, yep, check, right? Because it documents everything that we're being. So in order to actually allow these dream clients, allow the income, allow everything to take off, we actually need to become a version of us that we haven't yet mastered, which means that we need to shift our identity from I'm trying, or I'm the closeted entrepreneur, or I'm the overwhelmed drain bomb that can't get ahead because I've got so many competing priorities, right? Or the version of you that keeps failing to succeed, to the version of you who is highly sought out, highly affordable, and that is a no-brainer for the clients who would love to pay you abundantly for your gifts. The subconscious mind is really interesting because our internal beliefs on the subconscious level, they actually create 95% of the results that you see in your outer reality. So it's not necessarily another done for you marketing funnel that you need, or you don't necessarily need to have more money before things can take off, but it's actually about rewiring your beliefs to dictate over 95% of the results that you do or don't see in your own life. Now, I was living in the identity of someone who was trying and struggling, right, with business instead of seeing myself in demand. And the funny thing is, I wasn't saying yes to like the retreats, the opportunities. I don't know why that's going off. The retreats, the opportunities, the coaching, right, the support, because I thought I needed the money to arrive first. And one day I got a flash that I would actually need to enter my next level of expansion to say, yes, I'm all in, show me how. But this time, the ask comes with, I'm not compromising security. Show me how to do it profitably. Show me how to do it fast. Show me how to do it effortless. And show me how to do it in a way that also expands my life and raises my income rather than contracts me to something that I need to suffer through until I get ahead. In that moment, I got the most insane download. And in the work that I was doing with my coaching and healing clients behind the scenes, we were going back to the root of trauma. The very first time something happened where you decided men weren't safe, the very first time you decided that you would never be as good as your mother, so you continued to please her and let her nag on you, right? The very first time that you lost someone that you love, and then you decided that you can't let people get too close to you because they might get taken away, right? This is the way that we reverse some of our deepest recurring wounds. And I was such an expert in helping people have these insane transformations by going back in time to use timelines to understand, okay, when did it happen? Why did it occur? What was the purpose here? That's when the higher self started showing me that we could actually use your soul's records, your soul's blueprints to track the timeline forward and to not only clear the blocks of the past, but to align you with, if I were to take path A, it would take me about 6 months to transition. If I were to take path C, I could do it overnight because something happens and it just lines it up and all the right people, places, things come in. So this is where I started playing with the idea of, I wonder what timeline I could choose or the ways that I could put my offer out there, which would allow me to reap the rewards in a really fast amount of time with the existing constraints. So while I was working a 9 to 5, while I have a daughter that I support, while I have a family that depends on me, and this is where all of these amazing ideas started coming in that actually supported a transition from exactly where I was, rather than me feeling like I have to hope and wait and dream to somehow have more time on my plate or more capacity to finally take the leap. Now, all of you guys also have this higher self, right? And you can also explore all of these potential timelines together. The funny thing is, by saying yes to this commitment, something showed up that has never happened before. And trust me, because of those past failures, I was really nervous and I was very skeptical of starting over again because I didn't want to let anyone down. And because I also had evidence that the very first time, the people that I loved the most had suffered because of those mistakes or because of the things that I didn't know that December 2024, so just over a year ago, to go all in, but this time show me how to do it profitably in the shortest amount of time with my existing responsibilities and commitments and without burning it all down. This is where everything started to show up in my outer reality. Within about 1 month, I was at a speaker networking call, and within the first 5 minutes, I had a soul aligned synchronicity from some person that I've never met that invited me. I'm in Canada, by the way, in Ottawa, Canada, in Joshua Tree, California, in the middle of the desert during my birthday. Now, for the past 7 years, I had been blocked and stalled on traveling, right? Like I had no extra disposable income. I was like just barely getting by. But I knew that I was a speaker by nature and that this was my year to just say yes to everything that presents itself as a potential expansion piece in my life. Within about half an hour of working out the details, I had flights booked, a commitment to travel to the middle of the desert just a month later to speak at my first ever retreat. Fears flooding to the surface. I was like, oh my God, what if it rains? What if I go down there? There's nobody there. What if they bail? What if it's a scam? Like all of these things it as a reason, right, to do the logical thing to cancel or to back down. But instead, what I did was I leaned in and I said, oh my gosh, thank you so much for all of these beliefs, all these past beliefs around why it's not safe to succeed. And you're fired now. So we're going to like move this out of our body, move this out of our energy field, and we're actually going to follow it through. And the crazy thing that happened is, as I committed to this opportunity and I hopped on that plane for the very first time, my brain chemistry started changing itself because now I saw myself as, oh my gosh, I'm actually someone who's getting paid to travel that I'm waiting or wishing for. I am doing it. I am living proof. Like I am becoming that identity that I needed to succeed. It's no longer into the future. So the fastest way you guys can empower yourselves is actually to start putting yourself in the right places, the circumstances, even on a micro level if you have a job. All of this happened when I was still in a 9 to 5. I was doing dog sitting on the side to pay the bills, and I was working on a side business with a marketing agency on top of my coaching healing business, on top of being a mom. Like I was burnt out and maxed out. I had so many plates, it's not even funny. But when I started to create this feeling of inevitability, this is where things started to shift with me here. And once I got there, the funniest things started happening up. I was referred clients from someone I met at this opportunity in the desert. And then I was invited out later, 2 months later, to this 7 figure mastermind in the middle of Austin, Texas, when it didn't make sense. I wasn't a 7 figure business owner yet. And then this led me to a speaking event in Miami. And as long as I kept saying yes, it's like each gateway opened up more gateways and more opportunities and more synchronicities and more income paths than I ever thought possible. So within 3 months of having this download, right, to no longer compromise and to say, yes, I can hold both, just show me how for my higher self, and to actually follow through on the steps that I was given, I was able to manifest over $17,000 in monthly income while I was still working the 9 to 5. And I was able to create about 4 months of salary set aside to make that transition safely, to make the leap profitable. I mean, to know that even if it takes me a little while to figure it out, like we got this and there's something to count on. Right. So as we go through this, I want to walk you through some of the exercises that I do with my one-on-one VIP clients. And today I'm going to make sure that each and every one of you get a download to actually quantify your purpose and to make that transition really freaking fast without having to burn it down. So can you guys drop into the chat? Drop in like your income goal. So in order to feel like you are actually succeeding enough, right, in your purpose to make that transition to go all in, where would you need to be financially? 250K, 6 figures, 150K, 20K, quarter, 6K a month, 6 figures. Love it. Okay, perfect. Now, the other question I have is this juicy enough? Is this juicy enough to feel like you're actually thriving? Or how much would you need to be making to not only have all of your expenses counted for, but you feel like, oh my God, this is really working for me and it's really worthwhile, like it's paying off? Drop that number for me below. Because again, the 9 to 5 energy, the old income, right, whether it's self-employed or from an employer, is tied to mediocre. But we're not doing mediocre. We're not calling in mediocre results. We're calling in exponential wealth. We're calling expansion more than getting ahead on our goals. All of our money's in the right pots for retirements and investments. And then there's disposable income to live life, amazing, treat our family well, travel, right? And have all of our fun needs met. 30K this year, long term will be 150, 300K would be juicy. Yeah, that feels amazing. 200 a year to feel thriving. I'm assuming that's probably 200K, 12K a month, 500K, 150K. Perfect. Amazing. Okay, so what I would say is claim that higher amount energetically, right? And then also write in that by no means we are allowing for anything less than the bare minimum number, which is how much you need to make the transition successfully, while you also feel like everything's paid for. Okay, beautiful. So I'm going to guide you through a little bit of a exercise, if that's cool. Today, we're not building a business, right? We're not doing a bro marketing strategy. We're stabilizing your nervous system and rewiring your inner and outer beliefs so that your next level feels safe, it feels inevitable, and that you feel unstoppable. And that no matter what has happened in the past, and if there's been flops like me too, right? That's just an interesting point of view or something that provided wisdom, but we're actually creating a pathway for everything that you've asked for, everything that may be on your vision board, everything that you've been dreaming of to take off this year in this new manifestation cycle of a year one. Okay. We're going to call in a safety net that feels present, supportive, like all your needs are met, so that when you're taking action, all of this is just obvious choice. Okay. So what I'd love to do for you guys on the call or anyone catching the replay is just guide you through a little process that I use. So again, we work in all religious facets, all spiritual beliefs, everything in between. I've worked with atheists, very religious folks, very spiritual folks. Everything is welcome, right? So if I say things like source or universe, just know that you can use it as God, you can use it higher power, anything that is relevant to you, right? So just use it in your own words. And anything that you feel, know, or sense within the first 3 seconds is your intuition flashing directly from your superconsciousness, from your higher self. Okay, so don't overthink any of the insights that you get. You can also have a little pen or paper to jot down if you get some any specific instructions. Okay, so what we're going to do in this moment is actually download your higher self transition plan into that next level self, that next level life that pays you abundantly just for being you. Okay. So for everyone on the call, if you can just take a second to plant your feet on the ground, just really like arrive in your body. Okay. So what would it take for everyone on this call and everyone catching the replay to get exactly what they need to have a major epiphany, to break all of their limiting beliefs, all of their false stuck points, shatter any glass ceilings, and to actually see how swift and how fast it can be when you say yes and just follow your own soul's guidance? Looks like we were too powerful. We broke the internet. So for those of you guys catching the replay, this is the new fresh recording. We had some tech glitches. Thank you for your patience. Now we're going to transition into downloading your higher self transition plan, getting you clear and accurate guidance on your path for aligning 2026 with your true desires, your freedom-based, fulfilled life, and to create next level impact, legacy, and purpose, doing what you love, replacing your income with your soul's destiny. So when I say things like universe or source, you can use God, you can use Allah, you can use anything that feels resonant to you. If you do not feel like it resonates, just plug into consciousness or your highest best self. Either way, just know that the energy will go where exactly what we need. So I'm going to guide you through the exact process that I use with some of my VIPs to download your transition plans. All right. So when you take a second to arrive safely in your body, just take a moment to really land in your bones in the present moment, coming back. All the to-dos can be left at the doors. All the what-ifs can be left at the doors. Just closing all portals, dimensional doorways to negativity, to darkness, to doubt, to anybody else's energies or beliefs. Okay. Now, what I want you to do is imagine connecting to source energy about 350 feet above your head, plugging into pure consciousness, source light, where it feels like home or the energy of universal love. Okay. Now, bringing it in through your entire energy field, clearing out all blocks to knowing the truth, perceiving the truth, being the truth, any blocks and illusions, distractions that are creating false beliefs that you can't have what you want, you can't do it, any other people's energies that are hindering you, any disempowerment programming, saying you're not ready, you're not capable, clearing out anywhere it's not safe to know your guidance, because then you'd actually have to act on it or implement it. So anywhere you actually don't want to know the answers, because then that means you'd have to take some sort of action. Let's clear that out. So bringing it all in through your crown, into your head, just lighting up all the cells of your body into your throat so you can communicate your desires for them to be met in every way. Into your heart space, opening up your ability to give and receive love, to receive guidance, to let source in, to let people in, and to also create a wildly fulfilled life following your heart's every desires. Going into your stomach, clearing out anywhere you're sucker punched, any blocks, to feeling powerful, like you have choice, like you are in control of your reality. Anywhere you decided like manifestation or goal setting doesn't work for you, clearing out all false evidence and past file folders of subconscious evidence that you're not enough, you're a failure, it's not meant for you, that kind of thing. Connecting you with the energy of like your sacral, your womb space, and like turning on your zest for life, feeling like you are fully freaking alive. This is also the energy of our creativity, our sexual expression. So being like so wildly fulfilled and turned on by your life, where you actually can't wait to get out of bed every day. Okay, any other blocks and outdated karma, just clear and transmute that. And then grounding in through your root, right? So your lower chakras, to make sure that you feel like you are provided for, like you have the financial security, you feel safe, your nervous system feels safe, you can act on your guidance. And you know, yes, it might take a step outside of my comfort zone, but I'm going to be held, I'm going to be provided, my family's all good, it's safe to trust myself. And into the center of the planet, going down through the layers of the planet, the rocks, the molten lava, the crystal core, all the way in until it bounces back up into you. Now fire hose that shit, baby. So we're not talking about a rain cloud or a little shower. We're talking like fire hose level of consciousness and light above and below. Okay, and now we're going to expand your energy field. Just set the intention to expand your energy field past your house, your room, your city, your state or province, your country, past the world, back to being an infinite creator in a body. Oh my gosh, remembering that you are an infinite creator that has the ability to manifest, to do anything, to create desired outcomes. And how silly is it that at one moment in time, your soul decided what it would feel like to get the contrast of feeling disempowered, like you don't have choice, like you're stuck in a dead end, like you can't get ahead, and just reversing any soul decisions to experience soul fatigue, drained, blocked, out of alignment, to dumb down your own wisdom, your own worth, your own value. Okay, so now from this higher perception where we can know, have, be, perceive, receive all aspects of truth and all of our guidance, I want you to have a pen and paper handy and just trust that usually your intuition talks to you in the first 1 to 3 seconds. It'll be like a short puzzle piece that just fits, right? Any fear-based things, that is not intuition, that is our subconscious and our past programming telling us it's not safe to succeed. So just note down the answers you get and trusting you can always come back to this recording if you need to. I want you to bring forward the bare minimum number that you needed. So the amount that your body would need to feel safe enough to know that this is working, this purpose thing is really working in order to actually make the leap or transition fully into your calling or your purpose or the next level of your biz. Okay. Now let's ask your higher self. So if you were to clean up your blocks as they arise and to just simply tap into your higher self on a day-to-day basis and say, hey, okay, I'm ready to serve. What is my next action step? How long would it take for you to actually transition profitably into your income, your minimum income, doing what you love? Okay. So the answer might surprise you. And again, the best thing about the higher self is they account for all of your past, present, future obligations. They know that you have a family. They know that you have a mortgage. They know that you have a 9 to 5 with a boss that is checking over you, right? So your higher self will never ask you to do anything unreasonable. It will never ask you to sell your soul or to sell your dog or to become a stripper to like, make stuff happen. The guidance you will get will feel aligned in integrity, empowered to your authentic truth. And sure, it might take a reasonable step of faith right outside of your previous comfort zone or outside of the outdated boxes you've outgrown, but it will never actually contrast like what you are willing to do or make you too uncomfortable to the point of causing you or your family harm. All right. Now, going back to the next number that you had, which was your full fuck yes number, the amount where you'd actually be like, oh my God, life is taking off. Like I'm freaking doing it. I'm compensated. I'm well remunerated, right? This is worth it. I'm profitable. I have enough to like not only get ahead, pay the bills, but to save for retirement, do some investments, purchase cool things, travel, like really experience life, right? To have that dream home. So bringing forward that number. So if your blocks were already cleared and you were simply willing to ask your higher self on a day to day, what is my next step? And to just follow your step-by-step guidance, how long would it take for you to actualize that level of income doing what you love? It's insane, right? It's shorter most of the time than we have ever expect. Now, the fun thing that I love to do that I do some of my abundance coaching clients is, hey, higher self, if I were to clear my blocks, my energetic blocks, those past programmings, the past perceptions that tell me that I'm not ready yet, it's not safe, right? It's not fair to outshine other people, that rich people are, greedy, right? And if I could actually be the example of why abundant people are right in the world. So let's go into this. If I were to clear my blocks, how long would it take for me to generate $1 million doing what I love? I remember the first time I got this answer, it was like 2 to 3 months. And I'm like, what? And even if it's like a year or two, right? The answer will usually be like around the 6 month mark, year mark, sometimes 2 year mark. That's not a lot of time if you think about it. You know how long it takes to climb the corporate ladder, to wait for the raise and promotion, to put your power in the hands of like a boss or a manager to decide when you're ready for more? Rather than knowing that you have access to guidance where you can just ask on a day-to-day basis, when's one little baby step I can take? And as long as you're willing to follow through and say yes to the things and allow those opportunities to open doorways, and as you become that by clearing up your past pains, your wounds, your traumas, your blocks, the distortions that keep you small or doubtful or stuck, and all you got to do is show up and say yes, that you could have millionaire level of income, right? Seven-figure level income within this short amount of time. You know how many people spend their life waiting for like the lottery, retirement for life to finally get good? Now this puts the hands or the power back in your hands. Okay, so let's make sure you were connected to the light. So we're going to bring in some more questions, right? Now, hi, higher self, what is one person that I could reach out to who already like knows people that I can help or that can help me get to where I need to go? What is one person I can connect with, whether it's a coach, mentor, teacher, someone to learn from, someone in my friends or family or network that could actually support me on my next level of impact? Okay. And inviting you to make a micro commitment. Now, what is the number one block or belief that I have that is limiting my ability to receive soul-aligned clients doing what I love or to replace my income doing what I love? And I want you to jot that down. Okay. And we'll use one of the amazing tools that I love. This is actually for my quantum healing workbook. Let me just see here. All right, so bring forward that belief. Okay. We're going to ask ourselves, when was the first age I got that? I imprinted that belief. I bought that as truth. And again, just trust what you come to know. So everywhere you're holding these beliefs that you cannot succeed, that you're going to be a failure, you're not worthy enough, you're not ready, it's hard, you can't get it right, right? It's irresponsible, whatever that thing was for you, and any and other connected underlying issues that are reinforcing that you can't succeed at creating a soul-aligned business or life doing what you love. Let's clear and transmute, release and heal all limiting beliefs, subconscious programming, file folders, energetic blocks, and distortions connected to this issue across all time, space, dimensions, realities, incarnation, body, meaning like past, present, future, through your ancestral lineage. So they also get to opt in if they want. in every form, layer, frequency, clearing and transmuting to its highest vibration, releasing all stories, identities, emotional charges, patterns of mimicry that are not even yours, including any contracts, oath, vows, agreements, energetic imprints, implants, programming, conditioning, trauma, karmic cycles, karmic loops, repeating patterns, upper limits, glass ceilings, setback, or sabotage consciously or unconsciously connected to this issue. I would take a screenshot of that too. I love having it on my phone. The short version is I clear and transmute everything. I've worked with my energy team to encode this for a faster version. All right. So what would it take to release that belief that now is your time, that now is inevitable, that you have everything that you need to succeed and that you're willing to do what it takes? And that as long as you follow your higher self, the higher self already knows the outcome that you're aiming for, knows the fastest bridge to get you there, or the easiest bridge, or the safest bridge, the most sustainable bridge. We all have different values. I'm the kind of person that loves speed. I love to go fast. I love for results to be like yesterday. But other people prefer sustainability. They prefer, something predictable that feels safe, like they can fall back on it. It's going to, help their nervous system. So it depends, right, what bridge you want to do. There are fast ways to get there. It's like taking the highway. There are the scenic route, which is like the most comfortable, gentle drive. There is the tolled route, right, where it may cost you a lot of expenses and mistakes. And then there's the other ones, right, where they're building these like super highway things. So it's all about just aligning which one supports your values as a person, and then asking the higher self to show you the next step and fall through. Now, the other thing is you can't get the next download until you're willing to follow on the guidance that you've acted so far. So many people, they say, oh, I'm stuck, I'm not clear, blah, blah, blah. And when I ask them what they've been avoiding to do or what downloads and guidance they've already been given that they haven't even implemented yet, they say, oh, well, I got the vision for that like 2 years ago. I got this amazing idea, but I've been sitting on it. And it's like, yeah, your higher self isn't going to give you. Think about like a James Bond movie, right? They have like the person, the FBI has like the person who's like hacking the computer, like getting them the access codes and stuff, right? But if 5 steps ago they stopped like following the advice of press this button, now go to this floor, do you think the person could give them additional instructions? Probably not. And it's the same with the higher self. It's the same with divine. You need to be willing to act on your puzzle piece to the extent you can before the next thing downloads and the next thing drops into your field. And the number one thing that I see people get stuck is they say, oh, whatever, if it's meant for me, it'll always be. And if you've actually truth tested that or you bumped your intuition up against that, that's so false because the universe has backup plans. And sure, you have a specific purpose, but you bet you that with 8 billion people on the planet, if you're not willing to act in this lifetime or to follow through on that, that there's other people who are soul corded and contracted on an energetic level to be the backup plan version A, B, and C. And that's why you may see things coming into inventions. If you've ever seen like a cool invention come out, you're like, oh, I had an idea for that like 6 years ago. Yeah, because maybe you weren't the one to like roll it forward or it wasn't your idea to carry, but there are always backup players involved. Okay. Here's my favorite question that changed everything for me in 2025. Ask your higher self, make sure you're connected to the light. What is one thing, if chosen and committed to today, would lead to greater possibilities, rewards, abundance, fulfillment within a year's time or less? And in this moment, I invite you to make a soul sovereign, bold commitment to choose that, to action that, and to trust that even if it's a crazy idea of writing a book or something that feels unrealistic, that if your higher self is telling you, hey, if you actually went this way in a year's time, your life would be insane, to follow through so you can actually see it come true for you, or else you'll always be waiting on the sidelines. Okay, next. What is the fastest and easiest way for clients to find me? The clients who easily, effortlessly have disposable income to afford me at a greater rate. I'm a big advocate for premium clients. I love to work with people who are personal development junkies, like actively looking for the next Tony Robbins, the next coaching program, the next transformational thing to make their life exponentially good. Because I love to work with people that invest in themselves and are committed to be their best selves, because I'm also that type of person, so I can relate. But also on a selfish level or on a practical level, because it's easier to sell to somebody who is actively seeking my services versus somebody who needs years of convincing or persuasion to even like open the door to consider it. And I know that If you are in integrity and you are here as a soul-led, conscious individual, you're not here to persuade and convince people who don't want your stuff. You're here to be a lighthouse, right? And visionary and leader for the people who eagerly need your stuff. And that's where the big sales happen. That's where the financial abundance happens because you can have people that you love so much, like clients that my standards for clients are, would I invite them over for dinner, right? If I wouldn't invite you over for dinner, probably not a match. And I know Leisha's on this call. She's an amazing brand photographer. We were working with her a couple of years back, my fiance and I, for our joint business. And I remember we were considering at this point, we were like doing out the look and vibe for our brand shoot. I was like, I don't know if I should like, cover up my tattoo because maybe like business owners wouldn't, want to work with someone who's tattooed. And then I had this realization of, wait a second, would I even want to have clients that are that closed-minded that wouldn't consider working with someone with tattoos? Like old school, like boomers? No, that's not my kind of client. So in that moment, I made an unapologetic decision to go against the rat race, the white collar like programming, to break their own rules and to be authentically me, because I wanted to work with people that I would resonate with, hang out with, love spending time, because it's also the people that we're going to spend the most time with. So what better way to do it with people who can pay you a premium, who have disposable income, and who are also the kind that you love to hang out with and where life becomes so fun, it doesn't even feel like work, it feels like play. Those are the clients where you can actually create an empire, right? Or a freedom-based business or purpose or work that feels like a dream. All right, let's go back to the guidance, okay? What is the number one thing that I'm doing right now that leads me nowhere? What is the number one thing right now that leads me nowhere? It's a distraction. It's a play it safe thing. It's actually not going anywhere. And if I could eliminate it, would it free up the most amount of energy, mental space, manifestation, mojo, because I'm actually not leaking energy into a dead end anymore. Now, this might be like something you have to have a hard conversation about, where you're doing things out of obligation or out of commitments that you've outgrown. This might also be like something that you're doing where it like does not light you up, similar to when I was like dog sitting. I was like, yeah, okay, like, you know, I can do it, but it's not my purpose. Okay. And I'll tell you a story. When I set off in 2025 to go all in on my business, this means that I had to let go of 80% of stuff bogging me down. My marketing job, the dog sitting, and also the joint marketing agency I had with my now fiance. And when I had that conversation with him, that I was receiving this calling that I could not ignore, it was keeping me up at night. I knew that this conversation may hurt him, hurt his feelings, and be hard to hear. But as conscious, loving partners committed to our best life, I knew that in the long run, it would be a disservice to him and myself to keep myself stuck in something that isn't working, that isn't it, just to stay true to a previous agreement. So I mustered up the courage to have a heart-to-heart talk. And it was a hard conversation to have. But I did have to tell him, look, I love what we're doing, and this was a great intention, but this is ultimately not the direction I want to go in terms of like shared business or marketing. I know what I'm here to do, and I would love your support for me to transition into that. Right. And thankfully, he's amazing and supported me. But if I wasn't willing to have that conversation, he would have never had a chance to let me shine at my true potential. Right? So some of you guys might thinking, oh, okay, I've got to have the spouse conversation or the anyone else that you're waiting for permission for. But ultimately, these things can lead to miracles. Now, rolling the reel forward just 1 year later, it was just 2 days after New Year's, I was able to write him a $10,000 check to pay off his car loan as my thank you for having faith in me and supporting me, not because I owed it to him, not because he asked for it, but because I was thriving and I felt this exuberant desire to just give and get him ahead and help him rise now too. So now that I'm in my power, I'm in my success, now comes his time to rise and I can support him on that too. But that would have never happened if I was stuck in the dead end job, stuck in our marketing business, stuck dog sitting. So it may take up some courage to communicate this consciously. And in those moments, I want you and invite you to focus on the long-term benefits to your family because your kids deserve to see you're happy. Your partner will feel so good as a man to see his woman in her joy, to not be the overworked, exhausted, drained woman, but the woman who's giddy and joyful and lighthearted because she's freaking thriving and her heart is on fire. Not to mention the things that it can do financially for you when you decide to take a bold move and say, look, I'm doing this with or without you, but I would really love your support and it would mean the whole world, right? Let's go back and get you a couple more pieces of clarity. So, what is one bold action step that you can take today to lock in this new timeline of this destined life transition for you now to signal to you, the universe, to your subconscious mind, like, hey, I'm ready to go, game on. Show me the money, right? Show me the steps. What is my next right step? Okay. And can you commit to that even on a micro level today? Okay. Now, the last thing I want to go through is any fears or beliefs that would sabotage you if you don't clear them now. It's likely that you've tried in the past, right? And if you haven't yet fully succeeded or you've outgrown your previous success level, sometimes we have the subconscious beliefs, right? And again, the subconscious dictates 95% of our results in our outer reality. The results we get, what's in our bank account, the lack of clients or the abundance of them is dictated not by our strategy or the latest marketing tactic or the latest ChatGPT prompt, but actually about what's inside about here. Because there are an infinite number of probabilities, probable timelines where you succeed, where you fail, where you build the empire, where you do something in between. But it's up to actually our internal beliefs to allow those timelines to reach you where things really take off. So I want you to get really clear about bringing in that money, right? That money goal, that thriving money goal into your body and imagining it coming into your account. Does your body constrict or does it tense up? Does it feel at ease and supported or does it resist and contract? And if not, there may be some unconscious programming that tells you it's not safe, you'll be judged, people won't recognize you, rich people are evil, right? There may be fears of visibility, fears of rejection. There may be fears of like what comes with success. And then, oh shit, then I'll actually have to like, show up and do the thing and be responsible for clients, right? And if there's any type of resistance in your body, this will be the number one thing that you'll want to do some journaling about and some clearing around, because until we have this subconscious aligned, we will be in this thing of being in a push-pull pattern where you go take a step forward and then you sabotage and take yourself out, or where you go to show up for an opportunity, but then you flop, right? Or those times where you're over perfecting your thing and trying to get it all perfect. And that's a sabotage pattern too, because you're not confident enough to just move stuff forward without waiting for perfection or waiting until eternity until you somehow get it right. Because that day will never come if our subconscious doesn't actually believe we can have it or that we can hold it. And that's why so many people get sold into these like false coaching offers, these done for you marketing templates where you're promised to like copy and paste somebody else's strategy. Because one is not every strategy is aligned with your soul's purpose, your decision. Two, you're likely not meant, like if you're anything like me, you may be a little neurospicy, you have some weird quirks and talents, you're wildly gifted, right? You're wildly passionate, you have character. You're probably not the kind of person that is meant to fit into the sort of cookie cutter like avatar, right? Or piece of what a logical business owner or entrepreneur is meant to do. So by copying their strategies, again, you're forcing your same self into the same box as if you did when you were going down your climbing the corporate ladder career route, right? But the fastest way to get unstuck from that is to actually follow your own soul's plan and to get to know what your soul's written in, to find your unique way of making things work. Because those are the times it'll feel good. But until the subconscious beliefs are actually on board, you will find yourself in a continuous state of resistance, friction. It feels hard. It feels dreadful. It's like hard to figure out. You're overthinking, you're spinning because you still have emotional triggers that tell you, hey, don't go too far, right? Your comfort zone's way back there, and it's way better to just stay familiar. The subconscious is wired for predictability and safety through familiarity. It would prefer to stay stuck for the next 30 years than to do something different that creates an entirely new reality because it thrives from survival. But the version of you that is outcreating yourself and thriving in every life is not succumbing to subconscious programmings designed to keep you stuck. It is saying yes to an easier, better, more freedom-based, fulfilling, abundant life. So if we're going to change our programming to say we're ready for something greater, then we also need to be available to no longer play into the same predictable patterns of stalling and waiting, overthinking, spinning your wheels, copying other people's strategies, right? Because those were the same things. I need to think about it. I'm not quite sure. Maybe when I have more time. Those are the same things that have kept you stuck for the last years, decades, eons, and that will continue to get you stuck. And the truth is that more money won't fix the issue. It's not that more money will magically arrive for you to finally have time in creative pursuits. The resistance will still be there. The subconscious will still be there. And even with more money in the bank, you'll still have the same friction when it comes to pursuing your thing because you haven't actually aligned yourself and your soul with what your true programming is, which is ironically buried underneath all of your traumas, all of your fears, all of your childhood wounds, all of those past hurts that keep you stuck and limiting and looping and triggered, right? And out of authentic being because you've been conditioned to wear all of these masks just to fit in with the workforce, to fit in with society, to fit in with your parents and peers, to receive approval for doing what's responsible. So the way that we work in our Destiny program is actually to clear all of the densest trauma, blocks, woundings, fears, and beliefs on a cellular level at the root cause. Because what's under that is the original remembrance of, oh, yeah, that was my plan for this destiny. And it's likely been something that you've been training for your entire life. It is something that feels so home, but so alive and juicy at the same time, where you're like, of course, that's why I came here. Of course, that's why I came to Earth. Of course, this is what I'm meant for. Right? But until we can do that, we will create this back and forth pattern. This, let me just try and DIY my way out of this pattern. When realistically taking one bold leap would allow doorways to open. And you bet you I've been there times too where I've invested in myself where it did not make financial sense. I've invested to hop on a plane when it did not make practical sense. I've chosen to show up rooms when I didn't even feel like I was ready to be there. Right? Or I've gone to like sell stuff on Facebook Marketplace to be creative, to get a coach, to hire a coach to help me get there faster because I chose certainty, chose certainty and predictability and being inevitable mind success, doing whatever it takes, rather than trying to like wait and wish and hope one day for things to be different in my outer reality. I chose to recreate it from the inside out by becoming it. And during each of those moments, it felt scary to invest. It felt scary to try again. It felt scary to put myself out there after failures, right? But all I had to do each time is look at the beliefs. Where is it in my body? Where is this coming from? When was the first time in childhood I experienced the same energy of not feeling good enough, not feeling like I had people to rely on, not feeling like I was worthy or deserving? And the moment those got cleared, the more the thing that I invested in, the thing that I chose to do opened up miracles beyond my wildest expectations. And one thing led me to being able to pay off my car just in 2025 alone, something that I was struggling with for years, right? Not only leaving my job, but leaving it with 4 months cushion in the bank because I chose to say yes and then allow the solution arrive. So that solution and the how is usually on the other side of saying yes and going in. And until we're willing to draw our line in the sand and say, hey, no more, I'm not doing this thing where at the end of 2026, I'm going to hope for another vision board and finally wait for it to come true. It's saying, no, we're doing it now. And there's nothing else that I accept, nothing less than my bare minimum number to provide. But here's what I'm aiming for, this thriving amount. And yes, I'm here to hold it. Like I'm claiming my part of the mission. And on a side note, a lot of our childhood wounds and the things that we're actually here to clear on behalf of our family line, our ancestors, are directly linked to opening floodgates of our mission, because the first mission is usually healing our family and our ancestors and our programming with our parents and the people who have sort of burned us early in before things take off, but we're going to show you how to do both at once so you can be profitable while you're doing the healing, so that you're not continuously waiting to be healed or good enough or clear enough or conscious enough or awake enough to have it, but you can do them in tandem, which nobody seems to do. Okay. I want you to bring in more light, and we're going to do a little future self activation. Okay. So I want you to call in the version of you that at the end of 2026 made the best possible choice of their life. They've transitioned. Not only did they transition, but everyone survived. Like they made it safe, right? No one was harmed. They did it profitably. They did it without ever looking back. It was the thing that they committed to within a year's time that led to greater rewards, abundance, right? Fulfillment. And they turned their life upside down in the best way possible, in a way that was nervous system safe, in a way that felt good to their body, in a way that supported their family and showing them what's possible in this new era of business. Okay, and I want you to imagine them coming towards you. Now, just imagine how they're looking, how they're appearing, how they move, how they speak, right? Are they grounded? Are they rushed? What are they wearing? Okay. I want you to get some guides in this moment and make sure you're connected to the light. So ask them what mattered the most this year. Okay. What didn't matter at all? What did you do differently? What did you let go of? Do you have any advice for me on the other side? What is one thing that I can release and heal right now in this moment? And just set the intention that that's enough. Was it profitable? Would they do it over again? Where can I stop overthinking and actually just showing up and making one choice a day? Let the answers come without forcing. Now, what I'd love for you to do is we're going to merge with it. And the reason why is we want to bring forward all of the wisdom, all of the trials and tribulations, lesson learns, the upgrades, and the wealth consciousness, right, to actually allow money in from the future version of you into the now. So just imagine bringing back all the solutions, all the know-how, all the upgrades, and merging, becoming one with it, stepping into it and becoming her in this moment. Okay, and just ask your body, what would it take to heal and shift and upgrade, to reset to a new level of homeostasis, self-trust, self-leadership, total fulfillment and alignment with your mission, your purpose, your next level life. Okay, and to be able to hold it all so that you can hold the income, the impact. Okay, and just allow all of those upgrades to take place. And anything in the way of that clear and transmute across all time, space, dimensions, reality, all karmic imprints, just allow all of those blocks to be removed and released. Beautiful. So now you just became with it and trusting that you have the wisdom from the version of you that already did the thing and got there safely. So now that you're connected to this person every day, all you got to do is just tap into a little piece of wisdom, something that you can do with your existing workload, asking what your next right step is. Okay. And to clear the limiting beliefs as they arise, because they will. And at each level, they still do. I still do to this day. But the thing is, when we get curious about them, they clear in like 3 to 5 minutes. They don't spend, they don't take years to clear. This was the same process that I used in 2025 to stop seeing myself as the struggling business owner who was really, really good. If only she could just get a few clients in the room to like get a taste or to get proof. That stopped seeing myself as the one who was waiting, wishing, hoping that this one post maybe might go viral enough to get me clients. And I stopped seeing myself as the overworked, overwhelmed, drained mom that was trying so hard to be there for my emotion, like my kid emotionally, but who was like half present half the time because it constantly felt like something was missing or wrong. When I was at the playground and she was asking for my attention, I felt so lost in my own world because I wasn't fulfilled. I wasn't on mission, on track. I had all these abundance blocks. It was so hard being present. And I started becoming the highly sought after expert healer who was so good at clearing blocks that the 1% would pay for it. And sure enough, within 2 to 3 months, they did. And I was invited into these rooms. I became and saw myself as the thriving entrepreneur who just needs to follow her next right step according to her higher self so that it can actually be easy and I can play by my own rules. I started seeing myself as the one who's now invited all over the world to speak, to heal, to teach, to guide, and gets paid to travel profitably. And my brain chemistry changed because I started seeing myself as that. So, you know what funny thing happened? The reality shifted to match that. The reality responded immediately, and people started seeing me differently. People started treating me differently. People who were on the fence told me what they wanted to think about it, were there lining up to work with me. There was clients arriving left, right, and center, being referred clients, and working with some of the best top entrepreneurs like TED Talk speakers, multiple time ClickFunnels Awards winners, some very well-known influential public people, multiple 7 and 8 figure business owners who needed spiritual guidance, the thing that is not, you know, grounded in marketing. They wanted it. Opportunities showed up. I was invited to 7 and 8 figure masterminds when it didn't make sense. After 7 years of being blocked on travel, I was able to travel like 6 times this year, stay in amazing places, have everything paid for, and to also travel with my kid again. And I'll never forget the moment that I hit my first 20K month. It was about 4 or 5 months into 25. I had made the leap by May out of my full-time job with 4 months of savings. And then when I hit my first ever $20,000 month, just by following my guidance, no ads, no team, no VAs, like nothing, all organic, just by following my guidance and showing up and doing the one piece of thing that my higher self told me. I remember crying at the playground because I was so present with my daughter. I wasn't half distracted trying to figure out the next thing to do, feeling off track, lost, off purpose. I was so present with her because we were playing, we were in the moment, and I had it made. I felt like I made it. My bills were paid, I was getting ahead, I could figure out the market, like all of the stuff came true. And suddenly I was no longer seeking something outside of myself to finally feel okay. I, for once, had enough to feel fully present and to soak up every moment with my kid. And you could bet you that our relationship in my romantic life, in my life with my kids, has increased exponentially because I'm so wildly happy, turned on by life, fulfilled, that they get the joyful, lighthearted, playful mom, right? And they also get treated to like nice family adventures, vacations, and other things. And we're actually making we're making our impact, right? Doing what we love. I've had the same process with 7 and 8 figure business, 6, 7, and 8 figure business owners have insane results that don't make sense logically. They cannot be explained by bro marketing, by climbing the ladder, working harder, putting in more hours. This last client that I worked with over the past 2 months, 2 months on a one-on-one basis, called in over $136,000 from a secret manifestation toolkit that I told him and taught him during our sessions. This one thing allows you to manifest verbally by asking in a specific way to cosmic order your desires. And within the Christmas break, he put a little challenge for himself to manifest like a random 50K. It ended up being $136,000 that fell into his lap. He didn't put any offers out there. He didn't, pitch anything, advertise anything. He did the thing through the work we're doing, and $130,000 later, he had the money in his pockets literally through people hitting him up to do deals. It's insane what this kind of work can do. I've supported another executive on doubling her income in the short time we worked together during 8 months within this Destiny program. She went from $250,000 a year to $500,000 a year in 8 months. And it was not by working harder, it was by working less, caring for herself more, and prioritizing her mission. So some of these things can be unlocked at the speed of light and at exponential rates, but you have to be willing to let yourself go at a non-linear thing and to do the thing that doesn't feel logical or obvious, and to trust yourself enough to play full out and to see where it leads you to, because it's all interconnected. So now that we have this, checking in to see where you guys are at, now that you know that you have everything within yourself, that you're not actually broken or destined for this average life for the rest of your life, that you're not actually blocked permanently, that these are all small blocks you can fix, and that there's guidance available to you at every point when you say yes to your desires. I'm wondering if it would help if I shared a very specific program that would help you get there way freaking faster and in so much less time so that your purpose becomes inevitable this time and this year. It'll take about 5-10 minutes. Let me know. Amazing, amazing. Okay. I'm going to share the best program of my life with you. So this is my last intake for the Destiny Alignment Blueprint program. This has been the program that was featured in Women's Insider Mag, CEO Times, because healing your blocks to your destined life, to your freedom-based life, is the fastest, instantaneous way to transition into your purpose or calling successfully and profitably, without burning your existing life down, without starting all over, without sabotaging your finances. Okay. This is the very specific program that I downloaded. It's the very specific program that I downloaded one night when my daughter was actually in the hospital. And I was reflecting on how we all have an infinite amount of time. She's thankfully very well and safe and healthy. But in the hospital, it was an overnight stay. I was reflecting on how we have a limited amount of time in our lives, right? And if we were here to make an impact, and if everyone was in the right seats, meaning they were actually in their proper purpose and not like at a dead end career, not in a career where they're like trying to pretend to be a banker, but really they're actually an artist, like when they were really aligned with their soul, how much the life would change and how much the world would change, how we'd all be so abundant and profitable, how we'd be more joyful, we'd have more peace, less resentments, because we were actually doing the thing that our soul came here to do. And I got guided down this train of thought. I was like, if I had one opportunity to leave my mark on the world, like if I had a billboard that I could give to the world with some sort of healing or transformation to help the most people to the highest level of my capacity, how would that be? That's when this program started downloading into me. And so what came clear was the holy trinity of transformation, okay? There are three distinct steps in this program that ensure that your transition into your next level of success, your next level of income, and into your purpose-filled life are inevitable, fast, and serendipitously successful, okay? And it starts by going differently than the way we've been taught. We've been taught, just do it, just push, just go and do the thing when it doesn't yet feel good or safe. And that's why we stall out, we spin out, we have resistance, we have sabotage. But what if we first touched on all of the underlying unconscious, subconscious energetic blocks, karma, family line programming that tell you that it's not safe to go for what you want, that tell you you can't ask for too much, you have to be a good girl, right? You have to be a people pleaser. And the repeating patterns that you just can't seem to get past no matter how many years of talk therapy you've done. And if we could address all of those inner blocks, right, that create soul fatigue, depletion, feeling like, oh, you just need to like numb your way out of here, or you just want to escape, then what if we could also free up the energy to actually go full throttle once we're no longer in sabotage mode and resistance or in fear, because then it becomes easy. So the first stage is actually not about doing anything other than healing the deepest underlying blocks that prevent you from leaping into your calling, prevent you from having more than enough, right, to getting ahead on the finances. Here, I'm talking about all of the ways that you've ever failed, took yourself out on goals, right, past manifestations that didn't come true. We heal all of the underlying energetic karma and all of the subconscious file folders that tell you, oh yeah, well, do you remember the last time you started that diet, you flopped 3 days in, and the last time you told yourself you'd build a business, you quit 3 months in, right? And all those reasons where we create these backup plans to go to like a comfortable job that drains our soul rather than to actually do the thing because we don't think we can succeed. Now, I know for a fact that 95%, like I said, 95% of your beliefs and underlying programming dictate the results you can and cannot have. So by first reinventing yourself on a subconscious level to be 100% in alignment with the identity of the highly sought after, thriving mom, business owner, entrepreneur, coach, creative, then by nature, your reality needs to sync up to the version of you that you've become, where you have people inviting you to parties, to work with you, to pay for your stuff, to pay in full, right? And to be in the right rooms where suddenly the world starts gravitating towards you because you're magnetic and you're no longer going from a place of lack. So in the release phase, we heal all of the reasons why any other coaching program would have never worked. The exit strategies, meaning the backup plans of going back to jobs you hate, all of the times you've lied to yourself or divorced yourself to be someone, to mask, right? To be accepted, going back from teenage years. I know I had like a rebellious phase where I was trying to be like a pop punk girl. Times where I divorced parts of myself in a toxic relationship with a narcissist because in order to get my needs met for survival, love, right, safety, I had to give up on my desires, receive less, accept less, and dim my light to the point where after a couple of years of marriage, I couldn't even recognize myself anymore because I wasn't asking for anything. We heal the soul tag to completion, the parts of you that's like, oh, another year, right? And all of the pressure from society that tell you it's not reasonable to be an entrepreneur, it's not financially responsible, you can't in this economy, blah, 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 as well as your old identities, right? The struggling one, the trying one, the one who's learning, but can't get away, the burnt out mom who wears way too many hats, right? And then what that ties into is your own glass ceilings of how much you can receive, right? I was stuck at a glass ceiling for years and years and years in corporate, even as an entrepreneur. But by clearing those internal blocks, I was able to 10x my business this year, 10 times the amount of income I would have otherwise been able to hold, and leave the job within 4 months, which would have never otherwise happened because I wasn't energetically wired for safety at a higher level. And previously, what I would do is I would call in a nice win, I'd get a windfall, I'd get a bonus, and then something convenient happened, and I would manifest like a disease, not a disease, but like a sickness and illness, right? Or I would manifest an accident or my car needing a repair or something to like eat it up, right? How convenient is that? I didn't feel safe having more than I was used to. My thermostat for how abundant I could be got exceeded. So, what a great way to sabotage and bring myself back down to manifest some sort of expense, right? So it felt like I was never getting ahead. So those glass ceilings get shattered. Then all of those browser tabs you have open of every career thing you've ever undertaken, every business idea you've had, all of the projects that you're no longer considering that eat up like 80% of your battery. No wonder you feel grouchy. No wonder you are overcaffeinated. No wonder you can't even think about moving forward because you're so bogged down. So we're getting rid of 80% of the things weighing you down, as well as 80% of the things that create the repeating evidence that you can't succeed. We go deep into the family and the ancestral blocks because it is likely that you guys are those cycle breakers that are here to do things differently, to create more possibilities, to heal the world, to change lives. So first actually comes healing your own family line and the stories where maybe mom wasn't predictable. She was, explosive times, nice other times. Maybe dad wasn't reliable. You couldn't count on men. Maybe there are programs of war, hardship, famine. If you've ever had things like seasonal depression, right? It's because during those colder months, we have epigenetic programming that tells us, oh my God, a drought is coming. Oh my God, the frost is coming. There's not going to be enough to go in. So we still have those recurring cycles where we don't feel good certain parts of the year. Okay. The same comes with times where we can't manifest more. There's beliefs and family soul contracts to not exceed people, as well as the repeating sabotage cycles that continuously help you going down rabbit holes, going down distractions, opening up 75 new different ideas rather than actually getting ahead on the one thing you know is good for you and the one thing that you really want to do. If time, money wasn't an issue, what would you ideally love to be doing with your life if you knew you could have anything? That is all the stuff that we clear in phase one. Then comes the funnest part ever, and the reveal part is about downloading your higher self's plan and your soul's blueprint for your invisible calling, the thing that you came to do, your destined life, where you're successful, you're wanted, you're influential, you're making an impact, you're helping people, and you're also providing the most generous, amazing life for your family and kids, if you have kids. Okay. Here's where, now that we've cleared out all this baggage, all of this like matrixy programming that tells you can't have it, all of the things that take you out of your manifestations, right? And we actually download your accelerated timeline where you're pursuing your calling. You're opening up all the floodgates of opportunities, people, places, things falling into your lap. And we're equipping you with your intuitive compass to know how to make profitable decisions and to invest in things and choose things that actually get you the results you want. Some of the examples that I use, if when I'm going to speak at an event, I'll actually use my intuition. rather than just being applying to all these things, I actually select the speaking opportunities where I know my ideal client would be there so I could have a high level of transformation for them, create healing and epiphanies for them. And it would also lead me to be only choosing the right rooms where I come back and now I have paid clients from that opportunity. So I'm not going to places showing up empty handed, coming home with no clients. I'm actually knowing. And everything I commit to would also, one, create more for them. So it's a win win. I'm doing my purpose. I'm helping people because that's why I went into business. But then also on a practical level, I'm only investing my time in things that I know are going to be financially profitable for me. So I'm not guessing or copying other people's playbooks and strategies. I'm actually using my intuition to align my business, my bank accounts, my energetics with everything that creates a full fuck yes life. And we are downloading all of the paths to pursue this calling and to accelerate this opportunity so that you can step into this and for 2026 to be the year that everything on your vision board comes true. Now, the third pillar is the most important one about maintenance, right? After we step into this, we have to hold it and become it. And we can no longer say yes to low vibe friends who are toxic and all they do is whine and complain or gossip about other people. We can't say yes to outdated family things where you go home for the holidays and people are nagging on your energy and mom's criticizing you, right? We can no longer be available for fallback plans. So this is all about actually embodying your magnetism. It's like a quantum makeover. People used to have those TV shows where you'd get those like extreme, makeovers, like the new wardrobe, the new looks. This is the energetic version of this. And you'll also look good too because you're glowing. But the part about this is actually holding new boundaries and standards that make your next level inevitable and that allow people to rise to meet you. And the most magical thing that I've seen with my clients here is that people that were playing into toxic relationships, right? Sabotage things, unhealthy friends, or even like unhealthy family dynamics, things with employers, they drew their line in the sand and they were able to actually say, I'm no longer doing this. We've healed on a soul level any choices to like learn something from dealing with narcissists, right? Or learn something to do with boundaries. And now I actually don't need to be a mirror to keep attracting more of these kinds of people in my life because I'm no longer a match to actually get them to hook into my energy and bring me down. I'm rising. And I've seen people that were struggling with unhealthy relationships for years get ahead in their mission. One client, very specifically, she had a osteopathy practice, and her husband was always going through these mental health crises and going through these things where she would try to get ahead in her business, and then he'd go through like really hard times, but also sort of um, I don't even mean this in an insensitive way. There were unhealthy coping mechanisms where this man, right, needed some support and he would go lock himself into a room for like 2 to 3 weeks at a time, just ditch their kids, like they were living together. He was absent because he was feeling so down and it kept bringing her down. So she could never get ahead because she was in this kind of loop. And after we went through this rise pattern, what he did is he actually got help on his own terms. He went and did this men's wilderness retreat. He came back this new like man. She didn't have to fix him or rescue him anymore because they broke the soul contract to like never outgrow each other or never leave each other behind. And then by her stepping into her power, she was able to hold him with love and compassion and say, hey, look, I love you so much that I'm no longer going to do this. Like you need to make a choice right here to empower yourself. And he went and got help. And now they're both in this insane, really high frequency, really juicy relationship where their kids are thriving, their business is taking off. They're manifesting this like amazing farm right now, but it wouldn't have happened without those new boundaries. So this is where we call in that. And we also know how to reverse engineer any future goals, whether it's the dream home, the travel, paying off debt, or getting published, getting a Times Square feature, whatever your thing is. We reverse engineer the plan to allow manifestation opportunities to come right into your what's it called, your toolkit, your forward trajectory, and to allow the universe to support you so you feel like you are being held and you can really get ahead. I've had a client, Connie, who has gone from like an unfair dismissal at a in her school board job. She was a teacher. She was like unfairly laid off for this book she had written, and they were trying to take away her 25 years of retirement. And through this work, she not only got her entire retirement paid out, she manifested an entire year with paid leave during this time. And now she's writing a feature film for like a Hollywood blockbuster script that has already received one offer to produce this movie as something that is going to be like a movie that we get to watch and see. And it's insane to see how much has happened in a short amount of time. So this is the process that ensures that your success is inevitable this time, and that makes sure that there's no reason you can't succeed because you become it inside and out. And because that's when the universe moves mountains to support you and you see the world changing in your favor. Some of these examples, again, we've gone through Connie and Eric manifesting 136K. Two students that worked with me over the course of the summer, they pre-sold their first high ticket coaching offer within just 2 weeks of joining the program. So they choose to join the program, say yes, took a leap of faith, and then 2 weeks later, they already got their first high paying client. We had Jen S., who I think is on the call today, who actually had a pattern of attracting like narcissistic people. And she healed this and stood up to her narcissistic boss and put her foot down and actually replaced her entire 9 to 5 income, working less than 2 days a week, doing what she loves, which is like decluttering and organization and stuff. She's really good at it. And now she's making the same living from her passion that she could in 2 days a week, working an entire 40-hour day a week. And nothing, like it was the swiftest thing. It happened within a matter of weeks. It was insane. We've had Travis go from always building other people's dreams and businesses. That was my pattern too. I used to be always like, on the leadership team of other people's companies rather than pursuing my own calling, to finally quit the sabotage cycle and go all in on his vision. And again, Wado went from self-sabotage loops to taking his income and personal relationship to the next level after just one healing session. This is the kind of ayahuasca level deep healing shit that creates instantaneous transformation because it's quantum at a cellular and subconscious level. And there's no amount of coaching or talk therapy. And again, I can't make these medical claims. I'm not a doctor. So please, this is not financial or legal advice. I just have to say this legally. But there's nothing that I have seen on any sort of like traditional mode of healing that creates this amount of impact and acceleration and block busting. Because what this program does is it actually goes through and it clears the root cause, meaning the very first time this particular wound or block or story started, whether it's early in this life, in a past life, we go back to the point of origin, meaning the very first time it's happened, and we collapse it at a subconscious, at a cellular, at a soul level, at a physical and emotional level, so that you can finally have ease and frictionless, and you can actually feel like the universe is showing up to support you rather than you always trying to feel like you need to swim uphill. So that's a lot. My invitation for women on this call, I've got a special promotion for the Fearless women specifically because I really want to see you succeed. And I know that the stuff that I've experienced in this short amount of time in 2025 alone, this was by me learning it, downloading it. But now that I've perfected it and can teach it to you, the rates at which you go are even more exponential. And the promise is to take you higher than any traditional form would ever be. So there are two pathways for people who know that they feel something activated, they know their soul's ready for more, they're ready to let their BS excuses go, and they want some ongoing mentorship for the entire 2026 to make sure that they can get ahead financially, emotionally, so that they feel confident, so they become magnetic, and so they can release the repeating stories that have bogged them down for years. The first option is a hybrid group experience. This means that you get a sacred group healing container with badass spiritual, right, purpose-driven leaders, as well as channeled support for myself. You get a one-on-one initiation call. So this is an advanced core wound healing with myself, where we'll be going into your deepest, rootest block, the thing that totally prevents you from getting ahead in life or from your next level. And we'll heal that on all the levels. This is with me privately. Then you have the 12-month Destiny Alignment curriculum to learn the exact manifestation processes, to learn the exact subconscious rewiring, to learn how to clear soul contracts and karmic agreements with family, and to also decode your destiny and what you're here to do. So if you don't fully know your purpose, but you know you're meant for more, there will also be parts of this program that allow you to use your human design, your astrology, and some of that higher self guidance to actually make it crystal clear what your purpose is, combined with the 10+ years of marketing expertise on my end, to package it in a way that is really sexy and juicy and that attracts high value buyers who are actively looking to pay you a premium. We will have monthly group healing and channeling sessions where you can get access to your guidance, you get energetic upgrades, and you heal your deepest purpose-driven blocks that keep people out of alignment with their dream life on a monthly basis. And then you also have bi-weekly implementation calls for any of the curriculum to make sure that you're supported. Then we also have a quantum rebirth virtual retreat where we're going through an entire identity shift process to reverse engineer everything that you've been and to download your new 2.0 identity that gets you paid, that gets you purpose-driven. For the people, this is an investment of $497 per month. And for the people on this call, you can enjoy the first month off at 50% to get started right away by using the coupon code FEARLESS. The link is below to read about the program. Now, for the people who are like, you know what, this sounds amazing, but I love high touch support. I want personalized experience and I want to make sure that I'm deeply held on a personalized strategy for me. And they want that premium, right, VIP experience. The gold is for you. So this is for high achieving leaders who are ready to live their full life purpose, realignment, experience deep one-on-one rewiring of your deepest blocks, and then have custom channeled guidance specifically from your soul's records, which I can read for you, to answer any questions you have about why you're here, why you're good at the things you do, what your soul is guiding you towards, and to reverse engineer the biggest pathways to paydays and manifestation that you've ever experienced. So in the gold, you get everything that you do in the group hybrid experience, plus 12 months of personalized bespoke support with myself. You get the deep initiation core wound healing call. You get the 8 private one-on-one destiny healing and subconscious belief rewiring sessions with myself that have created quantum shifts from 250K to 500K a year, $50,000 out of the blue within 6 months of working with me. This past client just before Christmas, again, $136,000 in manifestations, cash, not by working harder or posting anything or launching any ads, literally by using the processes that I use here and rewiring his subconscious to unlock his next level of income without feeling like he's never good enough. You get the private one-on-one soul channeling experience to actually map out your personalized dream life transition plan. So everything that we guided through to you, I will be using your own soul's records, the Akashic records, to help you identify the exact strategy, the exact trajectory, the exact path to take in 2026 so that you get to leap fast, profitable. And by the end of 2026, we're sitting here together like, holy shit, I can't believe life got so freaking good, so that you know with certainty exactly what steps to take. You also get one-on-one voice and text support for ongoing blocks or guidance. So if you have like questions where you're not sure how to put something out there, or there's a block coming up in your personal life, you actually get that that intuitive support on an ongoing basis to help you clear those things so fast so you don't have to wait for the one-on-one sessions. So with this, we're downloading your bespoke, personalized, fuck yes, inevitable life. We're making sure that you are guided through an entire year, either on a group healing level or on a private, bespoke, one-on-one level where everything we're doing is tailored to your souls. Both are phenomenal experiences. And we have 5-star ratings through the Google things. And again, this was exactly what was featured in Women's Insider. The investment for this is $997 per month. Typically, this is a $12,000 program. And what I'm going to be doing to support you guys further is also including in a fast action bonus for today, which, let me just move forward, is the financial freedom activation. The financial freedom activation is the last missing secret to rewire your subconscious for the abundance and income leaps that are not explainable by logic or by working harder or working longer or doing more alone. For the people on this call who are like, yes, I know that's something in there for me. This is an amazing program that I've launched over the last 6 months. This clears your deepest money stories around people are greedy. If I make too much, people will want handouts. What if I'm sued, right? All of those common money stories of 1 step forward, 2 steps back, or robbing Peter to pay Paul, right? Or upper limiting on, I can't get past this certain amount of income. This is my glass ceiling. This is the most I've ever made. Everything that we do here rewires your subconscious so you can feel good having sales, so that you can outcreate your income, so that you can clear all of the energetic and subconscious evidence that you've manifested that accumulates, say, the last 5 years of your income goals. because all of the energetics and beliefs that you're holding equal to your current bank account balance, right? This is why you attracted it through your choices, your beliefs, your behaviors, and your vibration. So what this program does is it actually gets you to the next level of income fast because we clear everywhere you're a match for bills, debt, expenses. We clear everywhere you're matched for being limited or capped on your income. We clear everywhere you've been a match for low paying clients, flaky clients, clients who can't pay you. So now you're equipped to not only know the process of leaping into your destiny and to uncover how to do that, to heal those core wounds and the purpose driven blocks, but all of the money stories that leave right now for them. So this is the bonus for people who feel called to sign up for the one-on-one program. This will be my gift for you today. It retails for $19.97 and it is one of the top rated programs to shift your subconscious in alignment with the highest form of frequency, which is abundance, right? Impact, visibility, and also finally feeling safe again with your finances and really getting ahead. So for those who are ready, they know that there's something in this program that is going to illuminate everything that they came here to experience. You can go to melissamarina.com/destiny program to register. I only have 2 spots for the one-on-one for the rest of the trajectory for a year. Prior to maternity leave, we are going to be switching this program up to 20K because of the insane results that my clients have experienced just in this past year alone. But I'm not going to charge you the 20K. Obviously, the price is listed there below. It's $497 for the group experience per month or $997 for the bespoke one-on-one. Even if we were to charge you 20K, if all it did was give you the tools to manifest the transition into your calling or your purpose without breaking the bank or sacrificing everything, would it be worth it? Right? If it could get you so cleared and energetically upgraded to attract all of the most insane, high-paying clients, soul-aligned opportunities, life-changing circumstances, to travel the world, to step into your calling, to manifest your dream home, to get ahead financially, and to clear those deepest blocks at once, would it be worth it? Right? And if all it did was let you quit that unfulfilling job, step out of the golden handcuffs or like the comfortable, uncomfortable safety zone, knowing you could be successful getting paid for what you'd really love to do at the next level, even if it seems crazy, it would be worth it, right? This program is designed to help you start building a freedom-based life, doing what you love and making an income that sets you free and sets you up for life, right? This is the very same framework for people who want to know that they can have it all. They can have well-being and purpose. They can have family life and business. They can be an unstoppable, successful entrepreneur. They can be a wildly fulfilled mom at the same time. We are no longer in this era of needing to trade security or purpose, right? To say I can have a high-paying job or I can have the fun one that is creatively fulfilling, but I can't have both. This is the exact framework that will get you there. There are 2 proven programs to ensure that you'll be successful either way and that your destined life, your next level purpose, and transitioning full-time into your soul's calling is easy, it's quick, it's frictionless, and it no longer feels like this scary resistance thing that you have to work really, really hard to do. Whether you are interested in joining the group program or the one-on-one, you'll want to head over to melissamarina.com/destiny program. For people on this call, as the fast action bonus for the group program, you get 50% off your first month inside the Destiny program using the keyword fearless. So use promo code fearless. And again, for the one-on-ones, you get the fast action bonus of the entire financial freedom activation program, that subconscious rewiring experience, in addition to the one-on-one support to be held for an entire year to course correct your entire life, to reinvent every aspect of your life that's not working, and to align you with greater realities and possibilities beyond the wildest levels you've ever been to exceed. I am so honored to take this journey with you. And if you guys have any specific questions, there will be an option to book a quick Destiny activation call where we can have a quick chat to answer any specific questions you have relating to you there. You'll be able to find a link for the calendar under the Apply Now button. Thank you for letting me support this. This is the year that you get to decide to draw a line in the sand, to make your claim that it's now and that you're going all in. And one of the best things that I've ever done was making that sole choice that no matter what, I was going to become it, I was going to learn it. And if I was able to do this much in 12 months, It's insane to see the amount of manifestation wins, the amount of acceleration and support you can have on quantum leaping into your full-time purpose in just a few short amount of months specific to you. The best thing about this program is that it is not a copy and paste, do what I say. This is reconnecting to you, to your own internal guidance, to your own soul's wisdom and your own Akashic records. So you start understanding how to align the trajectories, how to manifest the windfalls, and how to clear the blocks so you become the person that is magnetic, unstoppable, where the world starts showing up in your favor, where you're booked out in advance, people are lining up to work with you, so that you no longer have to settle for less ever again. It is truly designed to reinvent every aspect of your life because you are a unique soul with unique gifts. And it's likely that as a cycle breaker, if you are anything like me, a little bit of a rebel, right, here to challenge the status quo, to challenge the way business has been done, to challenge the way society works, to challenge the way maybe our family has these unconscious rules of drama, then this program is perfect for you because it helps you to reconnect the dots with the strategies that actually work for you, that feel like home, that feel light, right, fun, effortless. And I'll never forget the time when I finally figured out the marketing strategy that worked for me as business owner. It wasn't a copy and paste my proven marketing template done for you funnel thing that felt icky and slimy. It was actually through speaking, and as a speaker, this is my happy place. Time stands still. This is my flow state that allowed me to manifest clients on demand. So whatever that thing is for you that you love spending your time on, it's likely connected to that, and it's likely also connected to what you've been training for your entire lifetime through the early life experiences, through random things that you've encountered growing up that are actually your unique keys or medicine or wisdom that the world needs more of, that if marketed and packaged correctly would support you in being paid freaking abundantly, because you call in the people that are just like you, that want more of your unique genius, your unique spicy recipe. And it doesn't matter whether you are a business, owner, right, an entrepreneur, somebody still at a 9 to 5, whether you know your purpose and just need help getting there, or you have some kind of clues about your purpose, but you still need to uncover all of that and get more clear on what it actually is that you wrote in as your destined life, as your highest potential. We'll do all of that inside the program. I can't wait to support you on this. I know that number one is a strong year in numerology, and I can't wait to see you guys rise. Thank you so much for your energy in business. Again, it's melissamarina.com/destiny program. If you'd like to hop in for the fast action bonus today, if you need some time to have a quick chat, you can book a destiny activation call with me on my calendar. And for those of you that are taking the yes, I commend you on saying yes and just making that bold soul choice to allow the universe to present you with the exact miracles on how to pay for things, on how to get profitable, and to download those solutions into your being. I can't wait for you. This is the time you are ready to go. And I can feel the energy in this room. There's so many exciting people here that the world deserves more of. Thank you for playing full out. Looking forward to seeing you guys in there. Again, the coupon code for the 50% off your first month is the keyword fearless, but I'll drop that all in the email below. Take care, you guys. Have a great evening. Goodbye.